today I'm going to be talking to you single ladies, and I'm going to be telling you what you should be doing while you're single, and that does not include crying, pining, being depressed, chasing after a man, wondering where your life is going because you're not with somebody or you're not married yet. That's not what I'm going to tell you. What is up, guys? Sophia here, your spiritual transformation coach, and I'm back with another video. What I'm going to tell you is how to make your waiting or your singleness full of enjoyable experience, and to, dare I say, be happy? What? Is that possible? So if you are single, you're not with somebody, and you are tired of just sitting there looking all lonely and whatnot, then stay tuned because I have something for you. So the first tip that I'm gonna give you is to focus on your own grass, because some of y'all are so focused on that grass over there of that married woman that you don't even have time to nurture your own grass, and your stuff is wilting and turning brown and like dying. Let me be for real with you real quick. So as a person that has done couples counseling, you would be surprised at how many married people, women especially, wish that they were actually in your situation, that they had not gotten married so early, that they maximized their single life, and some of them actually wish to go back. Not to say that they don't enjoy being married, but the fact of the matter is a lot of y'all are coveting marriage, thinking that that is your end all be all. And then when you get there, you're like, dang, I can't do this, that, and the third. What was I trying to be in a rush for getting married for again? So the first verse that we are going to read is 1 Corinthians 7:32. The unmarried woman or the virgin is concerned about the matters of the Lord, how to be holy and set apart in body and in spirit. But a married woman is concerned about worldly things and how she may please her husband. So basically, what that means is that if you have ever talked to your married friends, being married has a whole lot of responsibilities. I remember once I was talking to one of my married friends, and I was telling her my aspirations about starting my own business, this, that, and the third. And she just looked at me like a long, like that, right? And she was like, oh, well, you know, I got married so young and I really didn't have time to explore what was important to me. So that's what I mean by a lot of y'all are coveting something when they are actually coveting you. Because when you're married, you have a lot less time to worry about yourself. Because when you're married, literally it's about two becoming one, and your decisions are no longer your own, and you have to discuss everything with your husband, your money with your husband, your space with your husband, everything, and you no longer have the freedom to do what you want. So in this time, instead of being envious of somebody else's grass, water your own grass, make it greener, make it taller, and really take this time to go after what you really want out of life, no matter how outrageous, no matter how, I was gonna say risky, but some of y'all might take that to heart and do something stupid. No, but you can take more risk as a single woman. Now, my second tip is that you have an entire life to live, and 99.99999% of that is not about being married. So I'm actually going to start off in 1 Corinthians 7:16. For how do you know, wife, whether you will save your husband by leading him to Christ? Or how will you know, husband, whether you will save your wife by leading her to Christ? Only let each live the life which the Lord has assigned him and to which God has called him, for each person is unique and accountable for his choices and conduct. And I actually want to read another part because that was in the Amplified Bible, but if you read the NIV Bible, it says, God, not your marital status, defines you. So basically what God was saying is that, look, I put you here on this earth to accomplish a purpose. I gave you gifts, I gave you dreams, I gave you a whole lot of stuff, and ultimately what you should be chasing is that and not the man. Notice that he says each person will be accountable for their own life, because guess what? You still have a life. Your life is not determined off of your marital status, because being married is great, but people are always flawed, and you can never put your entire hopes and dreams and everything else under the sun in the fact that you're going to walk down the aisle, because people, die, people get divorced, men leave, men turn into something else, and you never know what the future holds. Just like this verse said, But how do you know whether you will save your husband and lead him to Christ? That other person has their own life to live, and no matter if they marry you or they don't, or they change 5 years in the marriage, they're still gonna do whatever it is that they wanna do that don't have nothing to do with you. So yes, be concerned about your husband, but also be concerned about yourself. Build your empire before you get the husband, and live a life that when you get to the end of your life that you can be proud of, and not just say like, oh, well, you know, I just sat around for a really long time and then I got married and then that's it. So that's what you wasted your whole 90, 100 years doing, really? And on that note, I want to move to tip number 3, which means you need to be so busy living your life that you are always your own backup plan. And so I actually want to move to the book of Esther, but I'm not going to talk about Esther first. I'm going to talk about the woman that Esther replaced, which is Queen Vashti. And basically she disobeyed the king and the king said deuces. He kicked her behind out. Bye-bye. And so as you know, we were just talking about, you know, you have one life to live. You can't really put all of your eggs in one basket when it comes to a marriage, because you really don't know what's going to happen. And so your situation is not wavering or dependent upon what other people give you or what other people are doing to you, or whether somebody wants to be with you or whether somebody wants to marry you. So if you're getting lost, I promise you, I'm gonna like pull it all together. And I want to start with Esther 1:19, that Vashti is no longer to come before the king, and to let the king give her royal position to another who is better and more royal than she. So I want to make 2 points here. The first is that the king gave homegirl the deuces. Now, whether you want to blame Vashti or the king, let's not even go there. He gave her the deuces. So like, let's say you spend all of your single life waiting to get married, not doing anything with it. You get married, your husband is a complete jerk, and he gives you the deuces, then what? What you gonna do? Like Vashti, she was just kicked out on the street. We don't know what happened to her. You gave everything utterly and completely to your husband, and when he decides to, what does it say? Find another who is better and more worthy than you, and that's his opinion. He might want to find somebody younger if that's what he wants to do. He boots your behind to the curb, and then you're out in the street looking crazy because you never had time to worry about you and build something on your own, but instead you were so busy being attached to the side of his hip. And now you're in a position where you don't have anything while he's off prancing to somebody else, finding somebody that is more worthy than you. Do I want this to be your situation? No. Am I saying it's going to be your situation? Heck no. What I am saying is that regardless of any situation, always make sure that you are good on your own. If you are single, you don't have nothing better to do. So if it means going back to school, going back to college, getting a promotion, starting that business, or going deep down in your imagination and saying to yourself, what is the biggest, baddest dream that I can fathom that I feel like will set me up for the long term and help me build an empire no matter who is in or no matter who is out, then let me go ahead and do that. You can do it. It's gonna bring me to my 4th point, talking about Queen Esther. And if y'all watch my channel, y'all know I love me some Queen Esther. I know I look real two-faced right now because I was talking mad trash about her, but that was just a metaphor. But for real, Esther was meant to be queen. What I want to talk about is working on yourself and upgrading yourself while you are single. I always say I would not date the same person that I did 10 years ago. Obviously, I'm 35. I'm not going to attract the same men that I did when I was 25 because I'm not doing the same things and hanging around the same people that I was when I was 25. So an example of the ultimate upgrade is Queen Esther. So first, Queen Esther was an orphan. She was a regular behind person, as most of us are. Most of us aren't just like born with a silver spoon in our mouth. Most of us are regular behind people, right? She was an orphan. So we know, we just talked about Vashti. After the king threw her out, he was looking for a new chick. And then guess what? Here comes Esther. But see, Esther had to go through the ultimate upgrade. Like, she couldn't come off the street smelling all dirty, her hair matted, looking like an orphan, not knowing how to act like a queen, not knowing how to talk like a queen, not knowing how to curtsy, not knowing how to the protocol of a queen. She didn't know anything. She was just a regular old behind person off the street. So as soon as Esther entered the castle, homegirl started her ultimate upgrade. She was like, all right, I'm an orphan. She went through a year of beauty treatments. Yeah, she might have saw the king, but see, she already knew she wasn't there yet. She upgraded her looks. That took a whole year to do. And then during that time, she gained favor with the king's eunuch. And then he gave her servants. He gave her the biggest room. And he kind of put her up on a pedestal and upgraded her so that she was a more better option for the king. And for real, it says Esther, like, everybody loves her. So even if the king didn't even choose her, she still had options because of the person that she had transformed to be. But even if she was like, if the king don't work out, then guess what? I'm a new woman and it's gonna work out with somebody. No longer am I the orphan, but I'm the woman who's been in the castle, who has servants and a big behind room. And mind you, there was no promises that she was going to be queen at this point, but she had attained all of this stuff that she had for herself, that regardless of what happened, she could still make something out of the year that she was there, that she had kind of built up. And so there is nothing wrong with upgrading your life and upgrading yourself and becoming a better version of yourself, however that might be, while you're waiting to be with somebody. And my last and final tip comes from Ruth, and it is about just do what you gotta do for you. Now, some of y'all kind of put your life on hold, and really you're kind of keeping yourself way down here because you kind of feel like, oh, I want to wait for a man, and the end result of that is you living a subpar life and you're not doing much of anything. Like with Ruth, she had become single because her husband died. She went into a new location, so maybe you might need to move for better opportunities. She went to Bethlehem because she knew nothing was happening back in Moab, where she was from. And then even when she got there, she was kind of starting from the bottom up, and she was like, okay, well, this is a new start. Let me go ahead and go out into the field and start working because I know I need some food, and let me do whatever it is I have to do for my life and not put my life on hold or feel sorry for myself because my husband has died, because I'm single, or because I don't have anybody. So that's what she did. And lo and behold, she went ahead and she met Boaz. Do you want to be like, let's say, in the fashion industry or be a fashion designer and you live in Timbuktu, God knows where? Then move to New York or California or Los Angeles or something. I mean, who's stopping you? Well, some of y'all may want to travel the world or something, and you're like, oh, I can't figure out how to do it, but I really want to do it. Who's stopping you from being a flight attendant and traveling on some planes to everywhere in the country for free 7 days a week? Who's stopping you from doing that? If you want to get cultured, you can always find a way to do it. If you want something better for your life, you can always find a way to do it. And like Ruth, if it means moving or even starting from the bottom in order to get to where you want to go, then go ahead and do that. How do you know that when you are not traveling to like Italy somewhere, you might not meet the man of your dreams? Just like when Ruth went out into that field, she met the man of her dreams. How do you know? You won't never know what could or is going to happen, or what man is waiting for you that you might meet on your journey to getting there. I remember when I first graduated undergrad, I was like stuck in a really bad neighborhood in a small behind apartment that was 435 square feet. And ultimately, just less than 10 years later, I would say, like way less than 10 years later, I bought my own home that was over 2,000 square feet. Why can't I? That's what I wanted to do. I was tired of living in in this little bad neighborhood, in this little small behind box. If that's what I wanted to do, then guess what? Who was stopping me? I did it. And so what I'm telling you, single ladies, and I'm going to close with this, is stop this whole, oh, I'm waiting for God, but God won't bring me my man, and so I just need to sit here and watch the paint dry on the wall until that day comes. For me, the only person that is feeling sorry for you is you. There is nothing to be ashamed about when you're single. There is nothing that you can't do when you're single. If you like what I was saying and you like me, then go ahead and give me a heart, a like, a follow, a subscribe, whatever it is platform that you are watching this on. And I will see you guys another day, another time. Bye, y'all.